Welcome to Higgs Garage. I am Tim, and behind us we have our H2. If you guys don't know, if you're new here to the channel, is a 2004 Hummer H2. This we've had for a little over a year, and we have never even really driven it. Maybe, I don't know, maybe about 50 miles or so, a couple times around town when we first got it. Other than that, she's been sitting. We went through, she had a little bit of rust on the bumper, the front and rear. We took care of that. We got our bumpers done. They're cleaned up, Raptor linered. We do have to finish assembling them. We also need to put all of our grill and all of our stuff back in here. But before we do that, we had one other major problem. So we went ahead, we painted the frame. We used our PR15 paint over rust. We even added a top coat because the regular PR15 is not UV resistant. We didn't want to have any problems with this thing sitting outside. We didn't want it to fade. We didn't want to look bad. So we went ahead and used their top coat in chassis black, and it looks really good. I'm very happy with it. We sandblasted as much of the frame as we could with the power washer. That was a disaster and a mess. It works. It's just very messy and a big cleanup. However, one of our other problems that we got with this was the brake lines. It seemed okay. The previous owner stated that she had the brake lines replaced, and she did. 2 in the rear were replaced. However, the front and several of the others were terrible. They were very corroded looking, and eventually the one in the front right over here did break and has a hole, so now it does not have any brakes other than the emergency brake. That needs to be fixed. So we went ahead, and it was a company called Inline Tube. We went ahead and got their brake line kit, and I believe it comes with 9 different lines for this Hummer. One of them in the front did have a union to where we had to meet it together. The original line didn't have that union, so that makes it easier to install, but it sucks because you have another leak point. That was one downfall of putting these on, but it's okay. I don't really see another way that we could have done it. The products were really good. I'm really happy with the quality. The packaging was great. The rear lines didn't match exactly what the factory ones were. They almost seemed like they were a little long. Not a bad problem because it was where we could bend them the way we needed to slightly without kinking them or weakening them. They are okay. Other than that, the quality's been really good with them. I'm really happy. The fittings are nice. The flares are nice. I really like the product, and I would definitely probably buy from them again. We're not sponsored. It's just something that we bought out of our own pocket to get this thing going. We were going to go ahead and just buy a roller line, make all of our own lines, and put fittings and flare it all on our own, but we decided to go this route instead. That is the case with the brake lines. We need to get them installed. We're going to leave the 2 that were already on the back when we got this because they're new. The problem with the brake lines on these is the ABS pump, and where all the lines feed into is actually under the frame and the body on the driver's side, kind of between the front and rear seats, and it's kind of hard to get to. Some people cut access panels in the floor. I'm not about that. We're not going to butcher this truck up. It doesn't have holes in it now, and it's not going to have them. If worst case scenario, if we have to, we will lift the body up a little bit to make access if we need it, but I don't think we're going to need to do that. Other than that, I'll show you the brake lines. I did get a couple in off camera just to see how hard this was going to be. It's going to be hard to show you guys anyways underneath here without having a lift. I will show you the ones that we put in. We put in a front one that goes back, and then we put in 2 rears just to see how everything works out. Show those to you real quick. And we were going to get the one that has the hole removed, replaced, and then we will have to unfortunately take the master cylinder off this truck, bench bleed it, which I will bring you guys along and show you how to do that. That way we can get fresh fluid all through these lines and be on our way. All right, without further ado, let's go ahead. I'll show you these lines and we'll get started. So you can see down here, we have this front line, and it's so nice that they're the pre-bent ones. I mean, we could have made this. The flaring tool I have, I was not happy with, and this is kind of why we did this. It's such a nice bend. You can see where it comes up through here. The union is on this piece. Oh, and I don't know if you're going to be able to see it on the camera if it'll pick it up, but it's right here. Just another spot that we got to keep an eye on for leaks, but I think we'll be just fine. This is actually the line that's busted, and it's leaking right here. That runs all the way back and down all the way into about the midway here on the frame. Back here, got a light back here to show you. You can see up top, see if I can get my finger right here. That's one. The other one, if the camera, I know it's going to focus on my finger, but right here, the next one. We do, however, need new brake hoses. I would like to just do that just as a preventative. I don't have them. So we're going to do this, and then we're going to end up having to replace the hoses and rebleed the whole system. You can see on the frame where we painted here and here, they were holders for the original brake lines. We will not be able to use those. They were crimped around the brake line, and that rear diff cover we're going to end up replacing anyways. Now I am going to try to get that other one off. You guys probably will not be able to see much on camera. I'll show it to you, and then we will determine how we're going to do the next two. Here's some lines. Really nice stuff. They came with caps on all the fittings, which is nice. I mean, it should be expected, but this one is off, but that is from me. And here is our other one. That is the broken one. You can see how long it is. One frustrating part with brake lines is fishing everything through, especially pre-bent ones. That'll plug in down there at the ABS unit. This plugs into this brake hose up here, right where we have the problem. They do come with slight bends. You can see one here for shipping. It's easy enough to come with instructions to kind of explain that to you and show you how to straighten them out. So it's pretty cool. I'm gonna get down here and I'm gonna get this brake line on, and then we are gonna move right along. So we have some of the brake lines on. We went to do the last two for the master cylinder. They attach right there to the other side of the master cylinder here. But if you look, there is fluid all leaking. That means that our master cylinder is no longer any good, or the seal in the back is out. And you can see all of this has fluid in it and rust. So we're gonna have to clean this out. We went ahead, ordered another master cylinder, so we are kind of at a standstill. We can get these lines, these last two, replaced. We're probably going to do that tomorrow. Get those lines prepped and hooked up down there at the ABS module, and then once the master cylinder arrives, we will bench bleed it and install this. That's kind of where we're at now. We got our new lines hooked up. They look great. They were a pain. It was extremely hard to get. But as you can see up there, that is our ABS module, pump, whatever you want to call it. Normally people cut holes right in here in the body or the tub, whatever, to access it, but we decided to not do that. You don't have to do that. We got all the lines on except for those other two, which are right there. We're going to be able to get them. And then they run right up. Ooh. You can kind of see all of our lines go. That's where we're at with this now. New master cylinder, bench bleed it, run our last two lines, and then we'll put the master cylinder on. We'll bleed the entire system, and our brakes will be done. We're gonna call it a night here, and I will see you guys bright and early or in the middle of the day. Just depends when I get out here. See ya. I don't wish this job on any of you. We do have the brake lines done. They are on this Hummer. Every brake line is new, with the exception of two. They were on when I did buy this Hummer. So we didn't need to replace those ones, but and I have them here because the kit came with extras. But these things were a pain. I don't even know, there's pieces of them everywhere. I had a break, I had a cut. I'll see if my phone picked up, because I had to use my phone to get up underneath there, because this is like the ABS module where these plug in is all the way on top of the frame, kind of in the middle here. There's no seeing it, so I had to put my phone and kind of use it as a camera so I could see what was going on. They were seized in there so bad, I ended up having to get this little pipe wrench from Amazon. It was so rounded off. The pipe wrench worked to break it free, and then I had to use vice grips, which I had no room. Some people cut a hole in the floor of the Hummer. I think I stated that before. I was absolutely not going to do that. We didn't have to lift the body, but it was very, very hard for brake lines. To me, it's not fun laying on the floor. If you had a lift, it might have been a little bit easier, so you weren't laying on your back trying to wrestle this. But anyways, we got them on. We have a brand new master cylinder over here. This is the new master cylinder, and it is set up on the vise, and we are going to go ahead and bench bleed this. I'll explain what I'm going to do here. You can get the kit. I'll leave the link to the Amazon kit that I use. The kit number is 14151, and it is just comes with plastic little fittings and these two little hoses that are right here. You're going to hook them up inside of this, you'll pinch the ear of this in the vise. You'll run the hoses back down into here, all right? And you will fill this up with brake fluid, and you'll take a screwdriver, which I have here, and you will pump this. You'll pump this in, you can kind of see, you'll pump it in kind of slow. You don't want to aerate the fluid, but what you're going to do is you're going to pump it, and it's going to circulate that fluid and get all of that air out of here. We'll just keep doing it and doing it and doing it until there's no air. We will leave these hoses in until we are mounted up into the truck, and then we will go ahead and connect our lines and try to spill a little fluid as possible. So you want to put rags. Brake fluid will remove paint or damage paint if it sits on it very long. So you want to make sure if you don't want it dripping down on your body and then leaning on your truck or car or whatever. We have all that stuff hooked up here. We're gonna fill this with brake fluid, get all the air out of it, and then we will get this thing mounted up, and then we're gonna keep adding fluid. We'll crack all of our lines. We had to have tons of air because all the lines are new. All the fluid is out of the system completely. We're gonna have tons of air. I will crack those lines, and I might even just let it sit, and you can let it gravity bleed. And just because I'm kind of almost to the point where I'm finished with this for today, get on the truck, get these things cracked, fill it with fluid, let it bleed for a little bit, go shower and stuff, and just check on it every 20 minutes or so, because you do not, if this runs low or runs out, you're taking it back off and you're doing this all over again. So I'll let it gravity bleed, close them up after a little while, and then when I come back out to work on this again, we will go ahead and hook up the bleeder kit that hooks up to the air compressor and bleed the furthest line first, which I believe is this passenger side rear tire, and then we'll go work our way from furthest to nearest, bleeding all the air out of the system, and then we will be able to test these brakes. Hopefully we have no leaks. We need to double check all of that while we're doing this, and then we can go ahead and test it out on the road. As you all can see, we have successfully bled this. We're doing good. I think we got all the air out of it, and it is time to install this on the Hummer. Here we are with our master cylinder. We have our lines still hooked up. So I'm going to go ahead and bust this side off. All right. We'll grab the cap. All right, so we have that started. Let's go ahead. Let me grab a wrench to try to tighten these fittings. Okay. Good there. 15. Here we go. You want to make sure that you're in there when you're doing that instead of just tightening up on these little cast iron ears, because if you're not in right and you tighten them up, you will just break those ears right off. Well, everybody, I said I'd be back after we crack these bleeder valves. I'm back, but I didn't crack the bleeder valves. Here's why. Yeah, they are rusted. They are rounded and trashed. These calipers are trash. I was hoping to get some use out of them, but I don't really think that I'm gonna I think I'm gonna waste more time messing with them. I know that we could probably get the bleeder valve out, took calipers off, possibly without taking them off maybe, and replaced it. But honestly, I don't even think it's worth it. So that's going to end bleeding them. That's not going to happen. Really, I'd like to get all new rotors, pads, calipers, and the soft hoses just to complete the entire braking system. So I'm going to call that right here. We're going to stop for today. I'm going to think about what I'm going to do and what brakes I'm going to go with. And then we will be back with a fresh head and an idea of what we're going to do probably tomorrow. Hey guys, Tim here. I just wanted to say, if you guys made it this far in the video, thank you so much for watching. We really appreciate it. The Hummer has been more than a headache with everything that we've done with it. We really love this thing, but it has been a major headache and a major pain. This would be a great time if you guys haven't already. Hit that subscribe button. Make sure your notifications are on so that you guys stay up to date with all the content coming with the Hummer or with all the other projects. As you can see, the fridge is behind me. Thanks again so much for watching, guys. We will be back on the Hummer here right after this. All right, everybody. So we've decided that we're going to go ahead and replace all of these brakes. We've done the hard lines, we've done the master cylinder, so now we're actually going to go ahead and do hoses and the calipers themselves. Instead of screwing around trying to get those bleeder screws broken free, we're going to replace them. Then it'll also have new pads and new rotors, and this thing's braking system should be pretty much perfect. We will bleed these things out and get all the old fluid out, and the hose is going to be replaced. So the system is going to be brand new, basically, and we should be set on the braking system. I want to thank you guys so much for making it this far into the video, following along on this journey. This is a major repair that is done, and this thing is that much closer to being on the road again. Thanks again so much for watching. If you haven't already, hit that like button, share, and subscribe. Comment down below. We will see you on the next one. Thank you again.